Good day from the 65th Annual Cannes Film Festival. I'm Ian Roberts, and I'm presenting to you a program created by Paramax and Monde Ouest, a program entitled Cannes Echo 2012 in partnership with Screen International. In our program, we have a unique opportunity to take a look into the world of film finance. Through a series of interviews and roundtables, we gain valuable insight from the leaders of the film finance industry and how they are bridging the gap between unique storytelling and the financial resources to make them become a big screen cinematic experience. In this edition of our Cannes Echo series, we had a unique opportunity to sit down with Vinca JARRETT of FilmPro Finance and a number of the few remaining bankers that are still financing films today. Let's take a closer look and listen to what they had to say.
Hello, I'm here with Cannes Echo 2012, the banking panel. My name is Vinca JARRETT. I'm with FilmPro Finance, and we have a great panel discussion for you today. Thank you for coming today. Peter, you've been in banking for as long as everyone on the panel, but you're the only panelist that's not currently with a bank. You're more with a private bank and a financier. Is that correct?
That's correct, Vinca. We're 120 DB Films. I'm actually a former banker. I used to work with Adrian at Lewis Horowitz organization. And what we've done is we've established ourselves sort of as a non-bank bank. And we actually do pretty much the same thing as they do, but because we're not as regulated, we can move a little quicker, we can be a little more responsive, and have a little more flexibility. But it is a small world, and sometimes we actually even work on deals together here.
So let's talk a little bit about pre-sales, Peter. Walk us through why you need pre-sales in order to get bank financing and how that works for you.
Yeah, basically, when we talk about bank financing, we're really talking about debt financing. And one of the things that I'm sure we'll all agree here is none of us really know what's going to be a successful film. And the best indicator we have found over the years is that a pre-sale, which is basically the obligation of a foreign buyer who's going to pay for the movie before it's actually made. They've looked at the script, they've looked at the cast, they like the director, and based on those decisions, they say, A, we're going to pay $500,000 for Benelux or something like that. And based on those sales, we look at those sales, and we're basically sort of like a factorer. We're lending money against the value of those contracts once the film is finished. Pre-sales have become a little more difficult to get nowadays, but if you have the projects that people want, then it's actually quite easy. Again, the hard thing is to get something that people want.
Letters of credit used to be a hot way to finance movies, and I know it's slowed down a lot over the years, but tell me, do you work with letters of credit?
You know, it's one of the things that, yes, if someone actually had one, any of us would take a letter of credit. And basically a letter of credit, you know, it's a bank guarantee against somebody else's obligation. Sadly, what we have found, most letter of credit deals are some type of scam to convince someone to get some money, and they put a lot of time and effort to it. I think in the past 7 years I've done one letter of credit deal. So they do exist, and we always are hopeful, but in reality space we find that unless it's backing a large pre-sale guarantee from a distributor, some equity player might as well just put in cash rather than go through all the mechanism and time and efforts of putting up a letter of credit. So I think by and large we can all agree it's
so being wary of letter of credit is probably a way to go right now. And are movies starting to pick up again with their funding? Are we going to be seeing a proliferation of new films come out with new funding, or are we still in a crunch and a crisis in the business? I'll start with Peter.
Well, I think it's, again, there's a flight to quality, and it's been very selective. We recently raised a new $100 million fund, and I have to say we're quite busy. It's actually cutting into my time enjoying the market. We literally had a person come in our boat yesterday, and they had some pre-sales, and they needed banked in 3 weeks, and we literally writing a commitment letter today. So we are seeing a lot of business for the right projects in that respect, and I think all of us are pretty busy at this point, so there still is hope and there still is a market. We are concerned about what's going on in Europe, in particular Spain is kind of a tough market, and Italy, but now Japan, we're hearing, which had been bad in the past, is starting to pick up. So there's always something going on in the marketplace, but we're still seeing people, pre-sales are around, films are getting made, and we're still getting paid back. So I'm actually hopeful for the next couple of years.
Now, we have bonding companies, and we're really down to only 1 or 2 bonding companies left. And My understanding about the bonding companies is that you really can't make a movie over a certain level without one. To bond or not to bond? Peter?
Well, we have done a couple of non-bonded films. I think we've done 3 or 4, and we had 3 or 4 problems with the non-bonded films. So we have kind of shied away from that on the independent film side. On television, though, we still will consider doing a non-bonded television series, for example, especially if you have a network involved, because they in fact take care of that. But the bond, which is a completion bond, guarantee that it's going to be on time and the budget's going to be hit and there's not going to be any overruns. We find them very, very important, and thank God there's still two and a half, as some people may say, bond companies.
The major film festival and market in the world, Cannes. Does that impact the sale of films for you guys that you get involved with, for each one of you? Do you have films selling at the market right now? And is it important to you as bankers, when you look at it, that a film has a chance to go to a festival or a market like the Cannes Film Festival?
Yeah, I think obviously Cannes is the most prestigious of the festivals here, and it depends on the type of film that you're looking at. If something's a little more artsy, you'll probably want to have it come out at this market. The other 3 big markets are the Berlin Film Festival and then the American Film Market, which in and of itself isn't a festival. But certain films are still better for the American film market than opening up in Cannes. And so it really depends on the film. Obviously, when people make announcements, you have the whole world looking at this festival. So if you want your project to get as much visibility as possible, you'd want to probably release it here.
What's one piece of advice you would give to investors in the film industry that were going to involve bank financing for an independent film?
If an equity person, an investor is going to put a film, they should have a pre-sale in place.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Cannes Echo Banking Panel in Cannes 2012. Panelists, I appreciate your time today, and thank you for participating.
Thank you for watching our Cannes Echo 2012 series.